Hi, I'm Sophia. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to do this combo. This combo's challenge really is about the grip strength and just trying to stay on the pole for the entire combo. That's really the goal. So if you're building your strength, then we definitely want to work up to that. Of course, you can do it and touch down between each spin if you need to, but as I said, building up to being able to do the whole combo without touching down is the goal. It is a high beginner, low intermediate combo, and if you want to make it more challenging for yourself, then you can take a climb and do it aerially as well. Today we're just going to do it from the floor. All right, please make sure that you are really warm as always, and of course please make sure that you do both sides, because in the video we're just going to cover one side today. Let's get straight to it. We are going to start with a really pretty spin. We're going to do it with a T-Rex grip or a forearm press. So our back arm is up and then our front arm is going to be in this T-Rex position with your index finger either up the pole or wrapped. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is that you pull down on this arm and that you push and brace on this arm. Now if you take a step with your inside foot, that's going to create the spin for you. And then what we want to do is push out of that elbow, pull down on the shoulders. We want to glue the knees together and just separate your feet. So don't kind of overthink that too much. What really helps with this spin is that you record yourself and watch it back and see what shape that you really like to make. So as always in this combo, I should have said, we're going to learn it, we're going to make it strong, and then we're going to finesse it at the end. So we'll go through those little nuances to make that beautiful, closer to the end of this video. And now after we go through our first T-Rex spin here, we're going to extend the legs and you want to sweep them wide, get the hips around to the front of the pole and then into an extension. So that little sweep there is really controlled, the whole thing is controlled by your arms, but you want to create a little bit of dynamic momentum to sweep around, to get your hips around without bashing into the pole. And the way that you do that is to think about extending your legs kind of out wide and sweeping them around and then to the back of the pole. So your legs are going out wide, forward and around to the back of the pole. You really do need to squeeze your bum as you push forward, and that will help you to control the sweep around to the back. So let's just try that one more time. So we'll start with our T-Rex spin or our forearm press here. Extend the legs out to the diagonal, sweep them forward, squeeze your glutes, and then think about taking the legs back behind you, because that's what's going to create that beautiful extension. Okay, now from there, we're going to extend the legs together, and then we want to do a little twizzle in towards the pole. Now the beautiful thing about this is that the spin will do all the work for you as long as you pull down and get your body in the kind of going in the right direction. The spin will do the rest. So I'll show you what I mean. So from here, if you extend your legs together, now pull down on the arms and just turn your chest, and then the rest happens. All right, so give that a little bit of a try. Extend the legs, start to turn your chest in towards the pole, and then all you really need to do is think about pulling your knees up. And what that will do is that will speed up the pole when you pull your knees up, and you'll end up where you need to be. Let's put all three together. So we start with our T-Rex here, then extend, sweep here. Now extend both legs, turn your chest, lift the knees, and then you arrive in your Fireman or your climbing prep. When you pull in, make sure that you get those knees onto the pole and you give them a nice squeeze so that you can take your arm off into your Fireman. This bottom hand is just going to float back, and then as you come up, give an extra pull with this arm to pull your chest in towards the pole, because we're going into a knee spin with our elbows hooked onto the pole. So really that movement or that transition is controlled by this hand, and of course you're holding on with your legs so you're squeezing really tight, but pull yourself in so you can wrap this elbow, squeeze, as soon as you wrap it around the pole, squeeze the bicep and pull it in, and then this top elbow will come over, and you are squeezing your biceps to pull in, lift the chest, and drop the head back. So let's just go from the Fireman spin into the knee spin. So like you're just going to take a climb, we extend back. Now use this hand to pull in so you can wrap the elbow and squeeze, wrap, and then squeeze the knees and pull back. So let's try all of that and then we'll add on. So we'll go into our first spin with our T-Rex, knees together, toes apart, lift the chest, Now sweep the legs around behind you here. Extend both legs, turn the chest, pull the knees up, squeeze the knees as soon as you find the pole. Now pull in with this hand, elbow, elbow, squeeze the knees and pull back. Now from here, the same arm's going to go up again. Grab in front of your face and pull into a Hollywood. So the arm that's up is the leg that's hooked. And then we're just going to do a slow extension in front of us. You don't have to kind of overthink that extension. We just want to, it's called a développé in ballet. So if we were to apply that to this move, then you just want to think about lifting your knee, rolling through your ankle and extending out through your toes. We're not going to hold the shape for very long. We're really just extending, and then we're going to pull into our sit. So from our knee spin, which is here, we take the same hand that we had up before, goes back up to the pole, and it really helps to just do this, because what that helps is you do is just pull down through your shoulders and make sure you're engaging through your back and back extensors, and then the same leg is going to hook into your Hollywood. Press the hips forward as always in your Hollywood, and it really helps to think about pulling this knee back, almost like you want to turn out. So if I show you this way, rather than here, you want to be here. So pull that knee back, squeeze your glutes and press your hips forward, and then that'll enable you to lift and unfold the leg forward. And then after we do our Hollywood variation, this hand is going to come back onto the pole, and then we're just going to pull into a sit. So this leg is already forward here. We're just going to hold, bring this leg and place it on the top. So let's just try that. We'll try spin from our Hollywood. Here, press the hips forward, pull the knee back. So bring this leg forward, grab the pole, just in a true grip with your thumb up, gently pull your chest in towards the pole, unfold that other leg and place it on the top for your sit. So we just really want lots of control when we do that. So rather than kind of, being clunky and just unfolding that leg and placing it on the top, you want to unfold it and arrive in your sit, which is really what we want. Let's try the whole thing. So we start with our T-Rex spin. So knees together, pull up. Now sweep the legs around into the back. Here, extend, turn the chest, pull the knees up, squeeze the knees, extend the arm back. Pull into that knee spin, so squeeze here. Now the same arm goes up, hold in front of your face. Same leg as the arm that's up goes into your Hollywood. Press the hips forward, extend the leg. Grab onto the pole, thumb up, unhook, and place into your sit. So as I mentioned the last couple of weeks, I'm not really able to play music, so please put some nice music on at home and practice that, because it feels so much nicer when you're doing this to music. Okay, now from our sit, we're going into a double attitude. I think it's also called a hello girls, I don't know. It's like a hello boys or a wrist sit, except for we're making attitude or a stag with both legs, and we're turning our chest out so that our torso is parallel to the floor. So I'll show you what I mean. I'll just add a tiny little bit of spin here. So this hand comes to shoulder height. Bottom hand goes down like you're going to do a hello boys or a wrist sit. Now your bottom leg goes forward, and then your top leg goes back. And then you want to push your chest forward and attitude the legs. Extend the bottom leg. This leg is going to thread through, knee first, roll the hip to a pike, and then the top leg is going to push into your genie. So there's quite a lot of reliance on that bottom grip placement. The most important thing when you're doing this is that you do not place your weight on your thumb or your thumb joint. If that's where you end up and it's hurting, abort and start again, because you are not in the right place. It all comes from that wrist sit position. Yes, there is some weight on your wrist, but mostly it should be on your forearm, and it should not hurt. So what we do when we place this hand, you have to play around with the position that works best for you. Sometimes it can go directly underneath your thigh, and sometimes you need a few inches to slide down so that you can just roll the hips off there. But I cannot stress that enough, never on your thumb. The other thing with this Hello Girls or stag or double attitude, whatever you want to call it, is that you really do want to turn your chest all the way around to the side and extend through the back. So think about pulling your toes towards your head. Obviously, I can't reach my toes to my head, but if you just think about doing that, that is what's going to create that beautiful spiral shape. So what really helps to do that, even though we're thinking toes to head, you don't want to have the back of your knee closed. You want it open, and think about the work coming from the glute and from the hip rather than from the toes and the knee. So that's the position, and then you're pulling toes to head. So let's just try that much again. We'll pull into a sit. And to set it up, top hand goes to shoulder height, bottom hand thumb up, slide down if you need to, bottom leg comes forward, top leg goes back. Now really use your hands, squeeze your glutes and into your double attitude. Extend the bottom leg, leg wave, knee goes first, drop the knee and extend, hook that top leg. Now use the bottom hand, get it out, push yourself back so you can get into your genie. Bottom hand comes into cup grip with your thumb up, and then we actually finish in our genie, or of course, you can finish it any way you want. That's just where we're going up to today. So that last little bit requires lots of, all of it does, but particularly that last half requires really intentional placement of your grip points. Don't rush your transitions. Set it up intentionally so that you can make the move strong and that you're not going to hurt or injure yourself, particularly that thumb on those last few moves. Now, just before we get into how to make it extra strong, I just want to talk about that leg wave when you come through there. When you do the leg wave, the thing that I see a lot here, particularly from that position with the leg coming forward, is that girls try to get their toes forward or through the gap first, but really you need to get your knee through the gap. You want to take your knee through the highest point of the gap, which is closest to your hand. So the knee goes through, and then as soon as it comes through, you want to drop the knee down to the floor, roll the hip at the same time with the toes up. And then after it's through, you square up to a pike position. So let's just try that little part I'll try to do it without spin, so I'll stay low here. Okay, so we're here. So you want your knee through the gap, toes through the gap, roll the hip down and the knee down, and then extend and pull the hip back. Then from there, you just hook and squeeze into your genie position. So I hope that makes sense. Always happy to answer questions if you want to ask me any at the bottom of the video. Let's go through it all again, and then let's just add a couple of little strength points to it so that we can make it really strong and we can hold the shapes a little bit longer. So the first spins are all about engagement of your upper body and also engagement of your core and your glutes as well. When we do that first T-Rex spin, we really want to think about lifting our chest, because not only does it look beautiful, but also it's going to engage the shoulders and the back extensors, keep your core in, and that's going to hold your body in the shape. We've talked about sweeping it around. Really be careful at this point that you don't hang in your shoulder. So we need lots of pull. And then as you twizzle around into your fireman, we need to pull even harder to control that landing, basically, of the fireman. We talked about as soon as you make contact, give it a squeeze, especially to take that arm off. And then when you pull in, lots of squeeze through the biceps and knees to hold your spin. We press forward here into the Hollywood, squeeze your bum, and then into the sit and back down into your Hello Girls. Again, lots of glutes, lots and lots of glutes, arms and core, which is basically the main muscle groups that we're using. So let's just try that with an emphasis on our strength, and then we'll make it pretty. Okay, so we're gonna pull in here. So lift the chest, here. Let's sweep around, an extra pull down with the shoulders so you don't hang. Extend, twizzle, squeeze the knees, reach out. Pull yourself in, squeeze the biceps, squeeze the knees for your knee spin. Same arm goes up. Now when we get into our Hollywood, press the hips forward, squeeze the glute, and then extend this leg forward. Let's grab onto the pole. Now control this. Slowly, hand comes down, thumb goes up. Turn the chest, lots of pull on the arms. Open through the back of the knee. And now extend your bottom leg. Thread through to here. Hook on. Now use that bottom hand to adjust your hips back. Squeeze. Bottom hand comes up to cup grip. Lots of squeeze through the knees, of course. And then we're pulling up from our genie. Let's just pretty it up a little bit because it's such a nice combo, this one. Deceptively challenging in the strength department. I've actually had lots of questions about, how do you do this and not slip down the pole? So how we do it and not slip down the pole is obviously develop our grip strength, but also engage the right muscles. And the more you can do that, the more you can make it look effortless and soft, even though we're working really hard. So it really does come down to keeping the strength and the calm in your body to hold the positions and transition slowly. So I'll just emphasize that again, transition slowly. The more you can control your transitions and dance your transitions, make them a part of the whole combo, the more beautiful and graceful this whole combo will be. But really the main thing I want to talk about for grace in this combo are your lines. Every shape that we make, and pretty much almost every transition as well, gives you an opportunity to create a beautiful new line. So you really want to think about that when you're holding your shapes. So even in that first one, for example, I like to make it extra feminine by not just lifting through the chest and elongating the neck, but actually emphasizing your hips and sticking. So I'm basically doing this. And it just creates a beautiful shape while you're holding that pose. Same thing when you sweep around into the back, it's another pose that you can really emphasize your line by extending that back leg and almost bending back around the pole slightly. So we want our neck and our head to follow the line of our spine pretty much all the time in this one. So we're here and then we're extending. So let's just try that. So if you come into here, and you want to emphasize your hips, look up. Now when you sweep around to the back, we're almost going to arch around the back slightly. And then when we pull up into our knee spin here, follow your fingertips with your eyes to make it soft. And then when we pull in, we're slightly more dramatic. We're actually going to stick our hips back out again and drop our head back. Into our Hollywood spin. Get it nice and solid first, and then soften it with the arms. So soft arm and fingers going the opposite direction of the leg. Keep it soft when you pull into your sit. And then when we extend back, again, head and neck can follow the line of the spine, or you can go right back with your head if you want to. Extend, thread it through, hook it on, use that bottom arm, and one more time, follow your fingers with your eyes here. And come back up. So your gaze direction and your arms, keeping your arms soft the whole time, will give this whole combo a beautiful grace and finesse. And just, film yourself and watch it, because you might want to play with some of the lines that you're creating. On your Hollywood spin, you might want to take that leg higher, you might want to make it an attitude, anything like that. And you're only going to know that by doing it, filming and watching it back. Let's dance it one more time together and we'll really focus on those finesse tips. So let's start with our T-Rex spin. And we're going to lift the chest, pull the abs in, hips out. Now sweep around and extend with the legs back behind you. Now let's twizzle in, keep it soft. Follow your fingertips with your eyes for your fireman. Pull into that knee spin, squeeze, head back. Same arm goes up. We're hooking into that Hollywood, press the hips forward, keep the arms soft. You can look back at the fingers. And then let's pull into a sit. Hand comes down and into your double attitude. You can either look forward or drop your head back. We're extending that bottom leg, bringing it forward and through. Hook it on, push back, and keep it soft. Let's take it down one more time. And that's it.